was the 15-year-old who disappeared from Essex. You can't have missed this in the news. It's had huge publicity, and perhaps the chance of finding new witnesses tonight might be slim.
But even if it's a long shot, someone out there must know something. Danielle vanished on a walk to school 4 weeks ago in the village of East Tilbury.
Okay, morning everybody. Welcome to day 28. Exactly 4 weeks today since Danielle went missing. Tasking today for teams 2 and 3 will be a footpath that runs from Butts Lane to a railway bridge at Linford in Essex. Okay, the divers will be continuing today at the lake nearest to the East Tilbury village. There's tide tracks footmarks on one area of that lake where they'll be paying particular attention.
Because you're just sitting waiting for news all the time, which is hard, very hard. But basically at the end of each day, there is no news, there is no result. There is nothing to tell us really. The only one thing we want to know is something that we're not hearing. And that's that they found her. She's not a withdrawn child, but she is very shy. She's just a homely girl. She's not one that likes to be wandering about at all. She loves animals. She adores her rabbits. She's got 2 very young rabbits, which she's not had long. She got up her normal rushing around. Her friends knocked as usual and she wasn't ready. She normally has like 2 sandwiches and then just stuffs it all in the school bag, and she went out at about 5 to 8. The normal thing was to say, see you later, Mum, and I'd say, see you later. I wished I'd told her how much I'd have to. Just hope I get another chance.
Danielle's brother saw her turn left as usual, but then she turned and walked the other way. Why? 2 schoolboys saw her as well, and assumed she was heading for a nearby shop, though she could have caught the school bus going that way too. She never did. Perhaps quite unconnected, but someone thinks they saw a schoolgirl arguing with a man not far away. Later that day, Danielle's school rang her home to say she hadn't turned up.
So I just thought, she'll come home. In any minute now, she'll turn up. And I was sure by dark she would come home because she doesn't like the dark. There is no way she wouldn't make contact with me. I know there isn't. Just from the simple note she leaves me, she's going to a friend. I'll phone you when I get there. I'm next door. A month sounds an awfully long time. Each day makes it a less likely good outcome in my mind. Although I've still got that slight flicker that there'll be a good outcome, but that is getting very hard to believe anymore, really.
Well, Peter, that's Mum's hope. What about you?
Well, I'm convinced that Danielle has been abducted. I know that she was last seen walking towards Coronation Avenue, but after that I don't know where she went to, and we really need to speak to anybody who saw her after she left the road close to where she lives. Anyone who may have been there, they may think that we already have the information and we don't need to speak to them again. We do. Anybody who can tell us anything about Danielle's movements after she left home should contact us urgently.
And what about the possible sighting of Danielle arguing with a man? You know about that, but you want more witnesses on that, if possible.
I want witnesses to anything that happened to Danielle. It's possible that it was her involved in that argument. It may have been somebody else, and if it was, let's speak to them. Let's rule them out so we can be clear what we're now looking for. But if that was Danielle and anybody else saw an argument or a conversation between 2 people, speak to us. Tell us what you saw. No matter how insignificant it is, it can contribute to our investigation. It may be the absolute key to what we're looking for.
Given that you believe she was abducted, is there anything that may have been going on in her life before this that might shed any light?
I certainly think it's a possibility. There may be friends who have been confided in. There may be somebody who knows something that she's talked about at school or in the village. Contact us and tell us that. There may be good reasons why you haven't spoken to us before. They may be frightened with this length of time having passed, that they'll be criticised if they come forward now. We must speak to them. Tell us now whatever you can to help, and let us be the judge of how useful it is.
So anything or anyone possibly that was bothering Danielle?
Indeed, anything or anyone. We would like to speak to them now.
The information you think you'll find that will unlock this for you. It's going to be in the local area in East Tilbury. Shall we just remind ourselves, you're looking for items like this, aren't you? This is what, Danielle's school bag?
Yes. When Danielle left home, she left home in a school uniform with her school bag and books inside it. Her lunch was inside the bag. And anybody walking around the Tilbury or the Thurrock area of Essex who should see anything similar to this, a Kukai bag.
Kukai bag. This is her school tie.
That's the school tie. Yeah, that's St Clair's school tie. Now that is the comprehensive school for that area. But we're looking for any indication of where Danielle has been or maybe now.
And her school blazer.
Indeed.
Okay, all right. Peter, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, Danielle's parents are here. Tony, do you agree with Linda, your wife, and do you agree with Peter about what's happened?
Yes, I do. I've always got that glimmer of hope that she is still alive, but we just know that she wouldn't have run away. We know that 100%. The type of girl she was, she just wouldn't have run away.
Do you, Linda, believe at this stage there is anybody out there who knows something who hasn't come forward? In your heart, is that what you suspect is going on?
I hope so, because we've just had nothing positive, so someone surely has got to know something. She hasn't just disappeared off the face of the earth. Someone's got to have said something.
It could also perhaps be a girlfriend of Danielle, somebody she's confided in who knows something, who again is fearful. Maybe she feels she should have come forward before, maybe she feels it was told in confidence. There are all sorts of reasons. What do you say to tempt that girl to come forward and talk?
Well, obviously someone knows something. If it is a friend, I know they must be really frightened of leaving it this long to come forward, but they've got to come forward to put us out of this. We can't deal with this indefinitely.
You know, from the enormous reaction there's been, it's somehow a crime that really has touched the nation's heart.
That's
Everybody
right,
out there is hoping for you tonight. And let's hope that the right person or people call in. Please ring us here in the studio, 0500 600 600, or the incident room. You can call it directly. It's manned now and will be for a long time tonight, 01 245 464222.
And please keep ringing, as your calls have helped so much in the past. A year ago, a man in West London was woken by a crash and looked outside to see two men raiding a shop. He made a split-second decision to tape over a video of his daughter's birthday and captured them in action. A viewer recognized one of the thieves as Dimitris Shabinsky. He was charged with burglary and given 21 months. His partner, who's under 18, got 10 months.
As a direct result of calls to Crimewatch, Jason McDonough was convicted of 11 burglaries on shops and hotels in South Wales and has been sentenced to 2 years.
Jonathan Lemoon stabbed a man walking home from a nightclub. It was a vicious and unprovoked attack. Lemoon saw the programme and turned himself in. He's been sentenced to 4 years.
And another conviction. This one, of course, you know about. It's Barry George, sentenced 2 weeks ago for the murder of Jill Dando. Tonight we'll show you the winner of this year's Jill Dando Award for Bravery, a man who saved a girl from being raped and maybe murdered.
What are you doing? Leave her alone. It's all right, she's my girlfriend. I don't care if she's your girlfriend, leave her alone.
Coming up too, one of the most bizarre offenders we've ever appealed on. And the driver who didn't like his wing mirror getting hit and killed the man who did it.
A really weird incident now. It happened last month in Woolston in Southampton.
I've been in the business I have now for the last 8 years. It's not a passing trade sort of business, so I rely upon regular clientele. But in Woolston, I would have said I was reasonably well known. All my customers are more friends than they are clients. I do get the odd casuals, obviously.
Hello, mate. Can I help you?
Yes, please. I'm looking for a barber that could cut my hair. It's a bit difficult, and I suppose I'm a bit fussy, really, but...
That's all right. We can handle that. Do you want it done now?
Not just now, no.
Want to make an appointment?
Yeah, I will later on, all right? I'll pop back.
Yeah, as you wish.
Okay.
In Woolston that afternoon, a man on a bike really stood out in the crowd. He was spotted dozens of times in the space of 2 hours in and around Victoria Road.
I had quite a busy morning, but I had a bit of a quiet afternoon, so I decided to take a little rest for the afternoon, a little siesta.
At around 3:30, a witness saw the man with the orange wig pull up outside the shop.
He walked in through the front door. I sat up because I thought it was charity, because, you know, dressed as a clown. Which point I got up out of the chair and chased after him. I thought it was oil, because it was oily looking. Got within a couple of feet of the saddle before he started gaining on me. And by then I realised it wasn't just oil he'd thrown at me, it was something a lot more serious, because I could feel the strong burning sensations.
Get into the seat. Oh!
The clothes were melting on me. It was just literally dissolving. And you could see the face actually starting to distort and change in the mirror as I was trying to rinse it off.
Oh my God, what's happening?
Police still need to trace some of the people who came to help Andy, including the man who'd made inquiries earlier that day.
Are you okay?
More witnesses saw the attacker cycling off in his wig and boiler suit. He was seen going into Thornycroft Avenue, where he dumped the bike and switched to a black, old-style motorbike with a distinctive raised badge on the tank. Witnesses can track his route up to College Road, where the trail goes cold. Do you know where he went, who he was, or why he did it?
I've had skin grafts now. They've all seemed to have taken quite well. There were some bad ones on my head, which I think they'll heal up pretty well eventually. But dwelling upon it and getting bitter about it is totally pointless. He's a nothing, a coward.
Nigel, what I didn't say in that is Andy Sinclair was actually pretty lucky to survive. He had terrible injuries.
Oh, absolutely. If he wasn't wearing glasses, he would have been blinded. He's got permanent facial disfigurement, and the acid, where it's trapped against his body with his clothing, went all the way through the skin and actually into his body.
Nobody knows any reason why anyone should want to do this. Nobody knows anything about Andy, and he doesn't know anything himself that would provide a motive.
Oh, absolutely so. This is even more bizarre as a case because there is no obvious motive, no motive at all.
Unless, of course, a Crimewatch viewer can come up with it. Because there's this extraordinary contradiction. If he was going for Andy Sinclair specifically, why did he spend 2 hours cycling around the town?
Well, absolutely, that's part of the mystery. We really don't know.
One possibility, Nigel, is that this is somebody who's got really psychiatric problems. Maybe a psychiatrist, a psychiatric social worker.
Well, absolutely. I think if anyone's going to commit a crime this vicious, this nasty, they may well be a troubled individual, so I'd ask anyone that knows any person, perhaps a doctor, psychiatrist, please contact us.
Okay. Witnesses in the shop. We pointed obviously to the guy in the purple shirt who came in. That's never happened, I gather, to Andy before. Somebody just coming in and make a vague inquiry. So we need to find that chap.
Oh yes, we're very keen to find that gentleman because he went in beforehand, and we believe he also went into the barbers after the attack. So it's very crucial we speak to that person and eliminate them from our inquiry.
And just quickly, there was a man with his daughter. Quick description of them, because they obviously went in to help.
They did.
You just want to find them?
We want to find them because they may well be witnesses. Mediterranean-looking gentleman with a daughter in her 20s.
Okay, you can't have forgotten it. Tuesday, about a month ago, 12th of June. 0500 600 600, or the incident room on 023 8067 4114.
The city of Bradford has had more than its share of problems in the last few weeks, and there's one tragedy that's been rather overshadowed by the riots. It's the death of Rebecca Hall, the mother of a 4-month-old baby boy. Becky's naked body was found in an alleyway off Thornton Road about 3 months ago. Max McLean is in charge of the murder appeal. Max, Rebecca disappeared on Good Friday, but then her body wasn't discovered until the 26th of April, 13 days later. What could have happened?
Well, Becky was a prostitute, and we know she was heading for the red light area, the Thornton Road area of the city. At the time she went missing, that's indeed where she was found, stripped and battered. But Becky was also the mother of a 4-month-old baby boy, and our information, it's very strong information, is that she would never have left that child overnight alone at any time. We feel therefore it's very unlikely that she's gone missing of her own accord. Now the scientists are telling us that Becky may only have been dead for 4 or 5 days before she was found. Therefore, where was she for that period of time, the 13-day missing period of time? We really need people to come forward. Have you seen her on Friday the 13th of April, particularly late on, or any time after that? Please call.
Now the other thing we want to find is these boots. Has anyone seen these boots? Because boots like these belonged to Becky, didn't they?
Yes, that's right. We know she bought some just like that only a couple of months ago. Her clothes were strewn about in the alleyway where she was found, and interestingly the only item of clothing missing was her footwear. We're pretty sure it would have been footwear like that.
Also this watch, now this is a South Park watch from the cartoon series. She was wearing one of these.
That's right. We're pretty sure that when she went missing at 10 o'clock Good Friday she had a watch just like that on. It's not at the scene. Where is it?
And her mobile.
Her mobile, I mean, ironically, that was given to her by a friend in order that that friend could keep in touch with her and make sure she was okay. We don't know where the mobile is now. That's the three things. If anybody can put those things together, please call.
So that's a Motorola StarTAC mobile. Tony, you work in Bradford with young prostitutes who've been abused through prostitution. It's a dangerous profession, isn't it?
It is dangerous for the young women that we work with. They are very vulnerable to abuse and to sexual exploitation. We know of other young women who've been locked away in flats and have been beaten up, and we want to be able to help, so we need any information that they can provide about the men who are doing this.
Prostitutes, for obvious reasons, soliciting is illegal, and their clients are going to be reluctant to come forward, aren't they?
Yes, I mean, they think they'll receive an unsympathetic hearing, but it's really very important that they do come forward. It's going to be a free call, and whatever problems they may have had with the police in the past, we're all on the same side in this situation, and we want, therefore, people to ring in and to provide us with information to help.
And of course, the killer is still out there, so other prostitutes in Bradford are at risk from this person.
Yes, that's really why it's so important for both prostitutes and for other citizens of Bradford to ring in and provide whatever information they can.
Max, what are you going to say to put people's minds at rest, prostitutes or clients, who may know something or who may have been attacked, may know anything about this, but don't want to call the police?
Yes, let me make it absolutely clear that we will not prosecute prostitutes or the users of prostitutes who are ringing in with information about this murder. We are all on the same side here, as Tony said. We've got a murderer to try and catch who is still out there. Please call, you can call in confidence.
And there are also 3 workers from your organisation, aren't there, in the police incident room, so people can talk to them if they don't particularly want to talk to the police.
That's absolutely right. They're at the incident room at Bradford Police Station, and we'd be delighted to pass calls on to them if you would prefer that.
OK, well, don't forget, whoever did this to Becky is still out there. Help find that person tonight. 0500 600 600 or 0800 318 001.
Now, 3 lots of CCTV with faces for you to name. Who are these 2? Now, you don't need to be Lara Croft to help catch this pair, as we've got some very clear pictures of them. Here in Holloway, in North London, they snatch a bag containing almost £2,200 worth of PlayStation games. And who can give us a name and address? This man wielded a knife at a petrol station in Norwich. Finally, tell us who this is. He walked into a petrol station in Welling in Kent and terrified the cashier with his threats. 0500 600 600.
And have a look at this. They're among the crowd that brought cricket into disrepute last month when a small gang of fans went on the rampage. You may remember during the presentation ceremony, an Australian player was hit by a full can of beer. Now, most of them look like they're aged between 18 and 22. Do call us now and tell us who they are. 0207 321 9337.
Jeremy's police force actually won quite an accolade this month. Each year the Police Federation and the Sun newspaper single out people who've shown conspicuous courage.
Every day police officers risk their lives in the line of duty. They take on criminals armed with guns and knives. They rescue people from mortal danger. Protecting the public is just part of the job. Once a year there's an event that recognises this. The Police Bravery Awards.
The Prime Minister welcomes the 65 finalists to number 10, and they met little Leo. And this is what he did.
Hello? Fire. Fire. Hello? Yeah, there's a fire down on Milfoil Drive. Yeah, I don't know what number, but you can't miss the smoke. It's all over the place. I was walking by and somebody sent me down here. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said there might be someone inside still.
Charlie Echo 131, location over.
Charlie Echo 131. I'm in Lockbridge Drove. Over.
Charlie Echo 131, can you attend Milfoil Drive, house fire? Persons reported. Fire brigade are en route, over.
I was literally 2 minutes from the call. The fire brigade had obviously got the call perhaps before me or at the same time, but because of the location of their station, I was much closer. Drove into the road, and as I'm approaching, I can see people at the house, and the smoke is even thicker by this time, and billowing out from the roof area. And I thought then, oh dear, this is bad.
Who's in there?
Her baby's in there.
You just go onto autopilot, and you don't think of anything else other than that there's a baby in the house.
I've tried to get in, mate. It's too hot. Literally, there's a kid in there.
You better hold this.
I got thrown back out of the room by the heat and the smoke.
Where's the bloody fire brigade? They should be on the way.
I went literally running straight into it. As soon as I hit it, it was just like hitting a wall of heat, the noxious smell. It just went straight into my lungs and it burned. And the torch was absolutely useless. And then suddenly I did hear the faint cries of the child, and reality hit me like a concrete block. And again I fell back out of the room. I could hear the flames crackling, the heat was singeing, and again I could hear the baby crying, but I couldn't locate her in the room. By this time the cries were a bit weaker. I recall at that point the flames just lit the room up, and the flames shot across the room, and they lit up a cot which was in the far corner. I still couldn't get to her. I remember getting thrown out again. As I got thrown out, so I heard her cries die. They literally just went. I thought, oh my God, she's dead. It was that point that it was literally do or die for me. I knew I had to go in. I was going to keep going in until I got her.
Your mate's still up there.
Okay, mate.
I remember taking the deep breath and standing up into the smoke, feeling the cot, feeling my way down into it, just finding her body. She was lifeless, a limp rag doll. I couldn't feel any movement at all. I expected a little wriggle or a struggle. I couldn't feel a thing. I knew then she'd died.
Bo! Bo, where are you? You're all right, mate.
And I remember holding her in my arm, willing her to breathe. And she spluttered back to life. Best thing, best noise in the world it was. Best thing I've ever heard. It really was.
I was out of it by that point. Just hearing that noise, it switched everything off for me. Sweetest thing I've ever heard. I don't think I could live with myself, knowing that I'd heard those cries and not got her. There's no doubt in my mind I'd do the same again, and I know any of my colleagues would as well.
What an amazing man. Now, you know the old expression, it fell off the back of a lorry. Well, if you're offered cheap phone cards or Sainsbury's own brand cigarettes, you might like to know where they came from. Clapham in South London, early on a Monday morning about 5 weeks ago.
When the Sainsbury's guy started, because it happens quite often if there's a vehicle broken down or there's getting a snarl up with vehicles in the yard.
Need to park here, mate. Can't get in the yard because the lorry's busted. We're waiting for it to be fixed. Well, how long is it going to take? I can't wait all day, mate. I've got other drop-offs to make, yeah?
I was just flicking through my paperwork, trying to get it in some sort of order to speed my day up. Because at that time of day, first drop, something goes wrong like that, you know you're going to be there for a while. It's going to be a long day.
Move over! Move! What? Move! 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 What? I'll take you your truck! Get out! Shut it! Get out! Get down! Get out! Get down! Get out! Shut it! Get him down! Shut it! Get him down! Shut it! Get out! You won't get out! Get out! Shut it! I said! All right, take it easy. Shut it! On your...
This lorry's pitted up.
Yeah.
What? Is there an alarm?
What? No, I don't think so.
It's got a tracker.
No, no tracker.
You're
No!
not
Listen us about, are you? No, I'm sure. Come on.
Being held down, it was quite intimidating, but the same as it made me feel small. It was my lorry. They were taking me where they wanted to go. There was nothing I could do about it.
Dave. Dave? Yeah. Run away.
I know it sounds silly at the time, but I was really just trying to concentrate on what they were saying, where they were going. They used two names. I'm not sure if it's their names, but one, the driver was spoken to as Yosh, and the passenger who sat on me at the time, he was called Jerry.
What are you deaf? Get him down, mate! Yosh. He's going to attract attention to us.
You've got to slow down, mate. Shut it!
I've never been so uncomfortable in my life.
The speed bumps were in Shakespeare Road in Brixton, and somewhere near the junction of Cold Harbour Lane they stopped and partly unloaded the lorry. There was a second drop-off in Herne Hill, and then finally Forest Hill.
On our way to the last location, there was definitely an air of uncertainty. I wasn't sure what was happening. The driver and the passenger themselves didn't seem to know what was happening. They were always on the phone. They were calling everybody they could think of, trying to get another pickup. They said they was looking for a blue Luton van.
Keep him there.
All right, go on. Get down.
When they did the third and final drop, I started to think, am I going to get a beating now? Am I going to get locked in the back? That's when I started to worry.
Get in the van.
You're being watched, so you stay right here. We know where you live.
Dad's shaking me up. There's no denying that. And I'd be a liar if I said it hadn't. It might happen again. It might happen to somebody else. But I'm certainly not going to let it stop me doing my job.
These are the cigarettes. Sterling is the brand name. If you buy them and they don't come from a Sainsbury's store, beware. You'll be an accessory to a violent crime. Incidentally, the stolen phone cards have been made invalid. There's a reward if you can solve this. Remember the names Yosh and Jerry and the blue Luton van. Call 020-8649-2744. And on this or any other crime, you can always call Crime Stoppers. That's on 0800 555 111.
Still to come, the car that drove into a hail of bullets in South London. And the winner of this year's Jill Dando Award.
Thanks to your calls, there have been some real breakthroughs on last month's cases, but there's still a lot of investigation going on and officers still need your help. When a pharmacist in Formby was sent a parcel bomb, she recognised the smell of gunpowder and threw it away.
Drive, Dad, drive! It looked like a bomb, it looked like a bomb!
We had plenty of theories offered, but we still don't know who sent the bomb or why.
In March, David Williamson was murdered. He was found unconscious on a footpath 5 minutes from his home in Sutton-on-the-Forest near York. We had over 30 calls on the night of the programme, but nothing on the black car that was parked near Bentley's farm, and we still hadn't heard from the man who was walking away from the village at 5:30 that morning.
Everybody stay down! Nobody move!
Just after Christmas, 3 men raided the home of a Lebanese family in Belgravia in central London. Jewellery valued at over £250,000 was stolen, and it's uninsured.
Out of 22 calls in total, 5 of them were good leads, and we immediately began to follow them up. If people have got information still, please come forward. There is a £10,000 reward.
Mary Hancock was a sprightly 92-year-old who lived in Southport, Merseyside. In April, her handbag was snatched by a woman who got out of a car. A month later, Mary died from her injuries. We had a good response on this, over 50 calls, and there are a number of strong leads.
To be raped is horrific enough, but 2 weeks after a woman was attacked in Alperton in London, the rapist came back to taunt her.
Vicky? Hello, Vicky?
We had a very good response. We had about 60 calls in the studio. We have to follow up each call because obviously each call counts. It was nice to see that so many people took the trouble to call in, and hopefully we will find the perpetrator.
A spectacular ram raid on a NatWest bank in Carhill in Doncaster.
Get down! Get down now! Move it! Down! Stay there!
There was one person whose name was put in 4 times by different people. That gave us quite a strong lead, which we're still looking into at the moment.
2 ambulances like these were stolen from outside a supermarket in Wolverhampton. They were for mine clearance projects in Somaliland. Within 2 hours of the programme, the lorry container and the trailer were found, but they were empty. Do you know where the ambulances are? There's a reward of £10,000.
A 16-year-old with learning difficulties was walking down the A13 in Leigh-on-Sea in Essex and was coaxed into a car. He was taken on a 3-hour drive and sexually assaulted. We had such good clues. The girl in the back was called Belinda, and yet so few useful calls. A metallic blue BMW, R-registered, with cream leather interior, and a 2-year-old called Belinda. Call us. Tell us who the driver was.
6 weeks ago in Plymouth, there was an incident of road rage between a pedestrian and a driver. The pedestrian finished up dead.
He liked being private. That was the way he was. He was very quiet, very independent. He was helpful, and he helped other people. And he loved his family.
No one doubts that Colin Beer had too much to drink that Saturday. He'd been at it all afternoon.
I don't know why he'd been drinking that day. It was a surprise to me because when he came to visit me, or me and my wife, I offered to take him out for a drink, and he said no, he wouldn't drink him anymore. He'd stopped drinking. Come on.
I know about 7, half 7, I don't know yet.
What's the others doing?
Just a minute. Look at that blue for that. What the hell? There was a man stood in the middle of the road. He looked a bit drunk and was staggering a bit. But then we noticed that as one car went past, he hit the windmill of it. When I first saw him get out the car, I did think that there was going to be a fight, or at least words would be crossed, because he looked angry, but I didn't think that it would be that bad. When I saw the man attack the victim, I felt a bit nervous, but when I saw him fall to the ground, I felt sick, because it was like, how could someone do that?
The car was a silver blue Peugeot 406, known as Samarkand Blue. This is Plymouth at about 6 p.m. on Saturday the 9th of June.
Norman, we should point out he had much darker hair than the actor in the reconstruction.
Yes, he did.
Now, what are you hoped for from this appeal?
Well, I believe that this person could have been a visitor to the Plymouth area, either working or in pleasure. And Colin Beer was 5 days in intensive care before he died. And it's well on the cards that this person actually left the area and doesn't realise the result of his actions.
And of course may not even have meant to hurt Colin all that badly.
That's right, Nick. It's one blow, and I don't really think that fellow ever thought that he would kill Colin Beer as a result of that strike.
So you've really got to get this guy to call in himself. I mean, that's really the essence of what tonight's about then.
That's right. I need to know his side of the story. What happened that day? I've numerous witnesses to this. Many people can identify him.
Now, I mean, I was going to say, you're going to get this guy eventually because you've got so many clues and you'll be able to eliminate all the... Because that sort of Peugeot 406, that type of blue, in that town that day is infrequent. You're going to be able to find them eventually.
Absolutely. There are only several thousand of those in the UK, and we can methodically work our way through that.
So what you need, he to come forward, explain his side of the story, and if not, other people who've got a suspicion who he might be.
That's right. My appeal is, who came home on the 9th of June with a sore hand, who has access to that silver blue Peugeot, who is like my artist's impression, and has knowledge of Plymouth or knows people in the Plymouth area.
Okay, well, the driver may be a sales rep, visiting Plymouth, whoever he is. Maybe he's got relatives there. It's unlikely he set out to kill Colin, as you've heard. So if you know who he is, give us his name, please. 01752 789 039. Or in this or any other crime, you can always call Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111.
Well, from one out-of-the-blue attack to another. This time, though, it started on a train. 3 months ago, passengers were arriving at Victoria Station in London to catch the 8 p.m. train to Thornton Heath. One passenger, Brett, had to sit down carefully to avoid the man opposite, who was sitting on the edge of his seat. The man seemed to spend the entire journey glaring at him. As they got off at Thornton Heath, he shoved Brett off the train and then continued to abuse him as they walked up the stairs. He then seemed to disappear, and Brett walked on towards Tesco's on Parchmore Road. The man then suddenly reappeared and smashed a bottle over Brett's head.
I got a few stitches on the top corner of my head, and then I got quite a big cut that went through the back of my ear and actually pierced through the front part of it. And then I got got a little cut just lower down my neck. In total, there was about 35 or 40 stitches that I received from the actual cut itself.
Brett was attacked for no reason at all. So who is the man on Thornton Heath platform who fits the description of the attacker? Well, that CCTV is very clear. Someone must recognise him. Call here in the studio or the incident room on 020 8649 1383. Now, here are our house detectives. First, Jackie, with this month's 3 most wanted faces.
3 simple appeals, but 3 stories of appalling violence. This is Joe Ngoni, a Kenyan who may be using a different name, but who's wanted for attempted murder. A woman was stabbed in the head and body in her car last month in Green Lane, Hemel Hempstead. Thankfully, she is now recovering well. Surdal Singh Lidar, also known as Sid, is wanted in connection with a murder inquiry in Leicester. Giuliano Marcillo was charged with grievous bodily harm against his own baby, but jumped bail. His son has been permanently brain damaged. In the past, Giuliano Marcioli has slept rough or in squats. If you know where he is, or indeed can help with any of our cases, please give us a call, 0500 600 600.
And do you recognise these two? They were filmed during a police surveillance operation in a pub car park in southeast London. Now this one might be called Gary. They were seen with a gang of men who have since been jailed for their part in a £2 million drug haul. And who's this? He was seen talking to some men who've since been charged with offences involving 32 kilos of heroin. That's a lot of drugs. If you recognise any of these three, call 0500 600 600 or 0800 085 5939.
Let me just update you on the information we've had in so far. On Danielle Jones, the missing Essex schoolgirl, we've had over 100 calls. We'll have more information for you on that later on. The Southampton acid attack in June. We've had some information about the bicycle that was being used by the perpetrator and several names for the attacker. On the Becky Hall murder, if you remember, that was the murder of the prostitute in Bradford in April, a possible sighting of her boots. They've gone missing. And the Clapham hijacking in June, that was a hijacking of a Sainsbury's lorry. Let me just remind you, we haven't had really very much on that, but these are the cigarettes. They're Sterling brand, that's Sainsbury's own brand, and in Safeways and Asda. If you've got those, but not from one of those supermarkets, these are the cigarettes we're after. More numbers are on CFAX page 621.
A black car with darkened windows cruising through South London late on a Friday night. Actually, perfectly innocently. And it drives into a hail of bullets. There's no explanation. The driver has no criminal associations, no drugs involvement at all. The only logical conclusion is mistaken identity, or perhaps a traffic argument. This is Oliver's pet shop in Streatham in South London, though its owner's name was Andre Aylward. When he finished work, Andre's passion was car audio equipment, and his pride and joy was his blacked-out BMW. At 27, Andre still lived at home with his brother, his stepmum, and his dad.
I used to joke with him that I didn't like the car because it looked like it was something that was driven by a gangster, because it was black windows, black car, low down, looked like it was fast, stickers on it. It just looked like the sort of car that you imagine gangsters driving. He was witty and he was liked. I mean, he obviously liked living here because otherwise he wouldn't have stayed at home. And so he stayed on, and we used to joke that he was going to be here forever.
Sadly, that was not to be. That's Andre leaving a friend's house to drive home late on a Friday night in May. At 2:25 a.m, someone started shooting at him, probably from another car. There may have been a chase because by the time Andre got close to home, the BMW had been hit from both sides and from two firearms.
I heard a sound outside, sort of rat-a-tat-a sound, and it woke me up. And I had this sort of thought, it sounds like gunfire, but then you think to yourself, well, it can't, it just doesn't happen around here.
One shot hit Andre in the head, another in the neck. As he slumped onto the accelerator, the BMW ploughed into a parked car and a wall.
Residents were woken in the early hours of Saturday by the sounds of gunfire.
We walked up through the cordon and up the road, and just as we got close enough, you could see the back end of the car, and then you see the number plate, and oh my God, it's his.
The shooting may have started on the north side of Streatham Common. Did anyone hear shots? Andre died in hospital.
There were flowers all over the front of the shop with thousands of messages. People were coming in and saying what a really nice guy he was. And there's a bit of you is proud, but then also you feel so ashamed that you hadn't appreciated what he was like while he was there.
It's so tragic. And Ken, you can find nothing in Andre's background that will provide a motive.
We've done lots of research into Andre's background, and we found nothing at all that suggests that he's involved in any form of criminality. Perhaps some Crimewatch viewer can help us.
If there was a traffic altercation, if he cut somebody out or just around, I mean, it just seems that's a ridiculously disproportionate response to road rage. But if that happened, where would it have happened? Where might people have seen something?
It may have happened between Crown Point along Streatham Common North to the junction with Liam Court Road. People may have seen an argument between drivers of two cars. They may have heard the sounds of gunshots. They may have heard very loud music come from Andre's car. I need to hear from people who've seen something, no matter how insignificant it is to them. It could be very important to me.
This is 8 weeks ago, 2:20 on a Friday night, early into a Saturday morning.
That's right.
I mean, presumably, whoever did this hadn't planned it. I mean, even if it was a gangland thing, they couldn't possibly have known where he was going. They couldn't have possibly known it was him, incidentally, because the windows are so dark.
That's right. His last stand was only for 4 minutes, and I don't think this was pre-planned at all. The violence used was exceptional. This person is not the first time they've used this kind of level of violence. I need people who have heard from the person who's actually committed this crime, to whom he might have boasted, family members, friends, associates, to come forward, give us a call and see if we can take this matter forward.
Okay, it was the Saturday of the Cup final. There's a big reward on this, £7,500. Please call in if you know anything. Either call the studio or the incident room on 020 8247 8261.
And I appeal for the identities of any of these men after a serious disturbance at the Lord's Cricket Ground last month. Now, we've had a really great response to this. I'm really pleased. We've had lots of names put forward, but if you recognise them, keep the calls coming in. They're all fans who were there on the day, and the police are very keen to speak to them. And here's another chance for you to recognise any of these three who were keen to identify as part of ongoing drugs investigations.
Well, our CCTV faces are already looking, the calls are already looking very, very good indeed. The PlayStation thieves, a whole host of names have been suggested, but the same name has been given twice there. And the man in Norwich at the petrol station, again the same name has been given twice. And the Welling in Kent, one name has been given there. Please keep calling in.
Barrow in Cumbria, near the Lake District, is one of those places where people, well, they look after each other. It's a really friendly community. But a stranger has been abusing that trust.
You may recognise the face, or you may recognise the habits. It's mostly on a Wednesday or Thursday around lunchtime. His victims are always elderly and often poor. And maybe he has an accomplice.
The ring came at the door, and it was this chap like.
You're all right, love. I've got a delivery for next door. Do you know if they're in?
So he said, well, I want to deliver some cement. Do you think I could come through? So he came through with me, and he must have left the front door open off the catch.
While she was distracted, someone got upstairs.
I was going to treat myself to some new clothes, for one thing, because I've never had a lot in life, not in that line. Couldn't believe my eyes. He'd been into practically everything. My rings had gone out of my drawer. They're very sentimental value, because one was my engagement ring, and I thought the world of that, of course.
I run upstairs to shut the window, my bedroom window, and I was coming out, and here was this fella laying across my bed like that. I said, what do you think you were doing? He said, I'm looking for a plug. I said, what do you want a plug for? I never ordered a plug. I said, get out. He went. I followed him down. But after that, I don't know where he went.
She then discovered he'd taken her savings, £100. Take another look at him. Sometimes he wears glasses and a blue military-style jumper, and he may have had a boil on his neck. It's possible 50 elderly people have been robbed by him on Wednesdays and Thursdays, remember, in Barrow. 0500 600 600.
It's a lot of money, and it takes a hell of a lot of getting together. I think they're stinkers, whoever they are.
Says here all of us. We think there are a lot of these offences, of course all of them causing such grief. Do call us. Let me tell you the number again, 0500 600 600, or the incident room, which is 01229 848 880.
Incidentally, if you've been a victim of crime, there are numbers you can call. You can call victim support on 0845 30 30 900. Now, 3 months ago, a couple in Finchley in North London had a rare treat, a weekend together without the children. On a Friday night, having dropped the boys with a relative, they met some friends at the Tally-Ho pub on Finchley High Road. After that, the woman went to the Torrington with her friends, while her partner, who had to work the next day, went home. The woman herself left at 12:45.
When she reached about here, she was suddenly grabbed from behind. She doesn't know where he came from, and he pulled her down into this alleyway.
Didn't see anybody in front of me. I screamed, I think. I'm not sure what I did, to be honest. I'm not sure if I screamed or what. Because it just happened too quick.
She came down here, she put a jumper snag on some wire and it cut her jumper and it also cut her stomach.
From the time he grabbed my arm, I didn't remember. Still, from that day till this, know how he got me from there to those steps.
He dragged her down here, pushed her down onto these steps here. She was lying here and he was above her. He was a big man. She put up a fight and was screaming and shouting and trying to push him off. But he was too heavy, she couldn't push him off. She was scratching his face and his neck, and he also possibly got cut by the wire that's here. He then held her down and raped her.
I thought he was going to kill me. I didn't think I was going to come back out of there. And all I kept thinking was of my kids. And I looked it. Just was running down the street, but I heard him shout.
Where are you?
He's a white male who's about 45 to 50 years old, stocky build, described like a builder because he's quite muscly. He's got boxer type nose and that is flat, and the victim was quite distinctive about the smell.
You know what somebody on the building site smells like? Dirt and sweat.
It's a violent attack. It's a stranger attack. She didn't know what was happening. She didn't know the guy. He pulled her off the street and he used a lot of force on her.
I want him caught. Because I want him to look me in the face. And he won't be able to do that.
There's DNA, so it's easy to eliminate people. Just give us likely names. 0500 600 600 or 020 8733 4465.
Let me bring you up to date with what we've heard so far on the disappearance of Danielle Jones. We've had a large number of calls. I mean, it looks like well over 100 here in the studio. How many have you had altogether, Dick?
I think we've had closer to 200. Certainly the incident room in Essex has been as busy as it has been in here. Lots and lots of callers.
People trying to help, but from what I've seen, really, frankly, disappointing in what you've got.
I think the response and the help we're being offered is tremendous. What we're receiving is reports of sightings all over the country and some in Europe. Now, I quite honestly don't think that's Danielle. We're also getting calls about pieces of school uniform discarded in and around the Thurrock area. They're really helpful. I'll have search officers out there to try and find where that uniform is, recover it and see if that's any assistance at all. What I'd also ask is this weekend, if you're out, if you go for a walk with a dog, if you go for a walk in the countryside around Thurrock, keep your eyes open in the future. Tell us of anything you find and let us follow that up and see if that assists at all.
And of course, if either Danielle confided or if the offender confided in someone, we wouldn't have expected them necessarily to ring up in the first few moments of the programme.
No,
anyway.
I wouldn't. I certainly think that there might be people, some of the friends who've been confided in, who are in a difficult situation now. They might be sitting with their parents and they simply can't make a call. We're expecting calls over the next two or 3 days, 2 or 3 weeks. Phone us as soon as you can. Give us any information you've got at the earliest opportunity. The calls we've had this evening have been superb. I want some more calls. Focus them in on a piece of information that can help us.
Peter, let's hope you get them. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Next month we're going to blow our own trumpet a bit. Well, really, it's your trumpet, as it's your calls that last year helped solve dozens of crimes.
Come on, then. Yeah, come on. Yeah. I'm arresting you for robbery. Yeah?
Jeffrey Banks?
Yes?
Can you do me a favour? Could you lift your t-shirt up for me?
Capture CID, you're under arrest on suspicion of armed robbery.
Can I not manage my lasagna?
That's the least of your problems, mate.
Find out how your calls led to their convictions.
Now to the Jill Dando Award. It's part of the Police Bravery Awards, but this one is for a civilian. And this year it went to Stuart Jackson from Bingley in Yorkshire.
That particular Sunday was a very nice day to take myself off for a walk. At the time I set off, I didn't decide whether it would be Skipton or Leeds until I actually got to the Canal Bank, and I decided Leeds. There was lots of people out walking. The Canal Bank was quite busy. It wasn't until I reached the Kirkstall area where it went very, very quiet. That area is eerie because the Canal Bank takes you past the Kirkstall power station, and as you're walking you're suddenly aware that there's no more birds singing, and you can hear the power from the electricity pylons or whatever they are. You can hear it buzzing as you're walking along the Canal Bank, so it gives it an eerie feel to it. The first thing I heard was a scream. I did stop and I did look around because it didn't sound like kids playing about. It sounded serious. But not seeing anything, I cancelled it out and set off walking again.
What are you doing? Leave her alone. God, she's my girlfriend. I don't care if she's your girlfriend. Leave her alone. She's my girlfriend.
No matter what that man said, I didn't believe him. It was a girl's face. It was her eyes, the face, fear. I was quite aware he was younger than me, and I'm not a fighting person, so I didn't want a confrontation, but I did want the incident stopping.
Let go of her. Just got an argument. I don't care about that now. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. I said she's my girlfriend. I don't care. I'm not going, love. No, leave her alone. I said leave her alone. Let her go. Come here, love.
He was very calm and insisted on this being an argument to the time of him leaving. It didn't seem like his girlfriend. There was too much distress there, too many tears. You just want to stop the distress, offer some help. I can't understand people walking away. I really can't.
If a student hadn't come along, then he would have raped me. He was about to rape me.
The girl was walking along this footpath. It was a sunny day, the first nice day of that year. She was approached by a man who started talking to her. Then he grabbed her and very violently dragged her up here where he attacked her. Now it's clear to me that he intended to rape her, and bearing in mind he had a knife, it could have been so much worse. Stuart showed great courage in approaching them in the first place. He was not to be fobbed off. He stood his ground. Had Stuart not intervened, then I dread to think what would have happened.
I've not had much contact with her. I've only seen her twice since the incident. But I think I made a friend that day.
The offender was found, and Dean Liner has been convicted of a whole series of sex offences and has been sentenced to 2 life imprisonments.
So well done, Stuart. We'll have more news with Crimewatch Update. That's in 35 minutes.
And if you're having an early night, don't have nightmares, do sleep well. Good night.
Good night.